Right now, a one-on-one interview with the whistleblower who says he's being discharged from service for notifying lawmakers of alleged sexual assault within the 115 Fighter Wing.
And what the city of Madison says it's planning to do to improve some of its most dangerous intersections.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. For the first time, we're hearing from the whistleblower, hoping to draw attention to sexual assaults and harassment he says happened at Truax Field.
And now he says he's being medically discharged as a result. Amy Reed joins us with his story. Amy?
Master Sergeant Jay Ellis coming forward with these allegations has sparked 2 federal investigations, and now even facing a potential discharge. He said he doesn't regret what he did.
I felt like a sense of duty, a sense of service, really. I know it sounds corny, but that's why I did it.
After a quarter century in the Air Force, Master Sergeant Jay Ellis felt the sense of duty again, this time to come forward and report nearly 2 decades of what he calls a toxic, hostile, and oppressive environment that led to female colleagues being sexually harassed and assaulted.
It had to be done. Somebody had to say something.
He said bringing his concerns to supervisors didn't seem to go anywhere, so he detailed multiple accounts in a letter to Senator Tammy Baldwin, which kicked off a federal investigation into the 115th Fighter Wing. Months later, he learned the medical examination board was looking at his file. He said looking for a reason to get him discharged.
I have allergy to tree nuts. Well, I've had an allergy to tree nuts since I was a teenager. You know, the Air Force let me in knowing full well that I had an allergy to tree nuts.
Despite he and his doctor disputing what he calls exaggerated claims or flat-out lies, the board told him he'd be medically discharged.
It definitely rips your heart out when you give everything that you have, to serving your country, and you give it to, to an organization like that, and they just seem to be able to cast you aside without thinking twice about it.
Ellis is appealing this, and Senator Baldwin has written multiple letters to head military officials saying she's extremely troubled in hearing about his discharge. A spokesman for the Wisconsin National Guard said they can't comment on ongoing personnel and medical matters, also adding medical evaluation boards are specifically set up in a way so the chain of command does not influence the outcome, and their purpose is to evaluate medical fitness for duty. Ellis hopes at the end of this he can just return to work, but coming forward, despite all of this, he says he doesn't regret it all.
And I just couldn't live with myself if I left and didn't try to make things better for the people that were coming up behind me.
Senator Baldwin has called for an investigation into this discharge. Ellis is appealing it too, and he'll go before a formal board with that in early December.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you. A developing story right now in Chicago. A police officer shot and grazed in the side of the head tonight in a gun battle with a bank robbery suspect. This was on Irving Park Road near the Kennedy Expressway. The officer was brought to the hospital. His condition currently unknown. As a police spokesman says a chase that preceded the shooting may have happened in Des Plaines. A witness said the driver of a car that was being chased by police got out of that car and started firing at officers.
Well, after a 3-week stretch of unseasonably cold weather, milder air finally returns to southern Wisconsin starting tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti has our first alert forecast.
And as that mild air moves in, we're also seeing some fog form tonight. Visibilities in some areas are down to less than a mile. In fact, quarter-mile visibility in Lone Rock, half-mile in Mineral Point, and a quarter-mile in Monroe for some of the lower visibilities right now. Dense fog advisories in effect till 9 a.m. for most of southern Wisconsin, basically from the Mississippi River to the western suburbs of Milwaukee. Current temperatures are as warm as they've been all day in Madison, 38 degrees. Those temperatures are probably going to fall a little bit tonight, but should stay above freezing as we continue to melt the snow. So that'll lead to more fog by tomorrow morning. But tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 43 degrees, maybe a few breaks in the clouds late in the day. We could hit 50 on Thursday before a cold front comes through, but we'll watch a storm for early next week, right before Thanksgiving.
New tonight, a school bus rollover injures a student in western Wisconsin. This happened around 7:15 this morning near Arcadia. The bus lost control on a patch of mud. The bus was carrying about 20 children. Only one student was taken by ambulance with minor injuries.
State health officials are investigating a significant increase in reported cases of E. coli across Wisconsin. They're now working with local health departments to interview sick people and try to find the source of that outbreak. And the city of Beloit says it has shut down one of its wells after finding higher radium levels than normal. According to a press release, samples were collected from November of last year to September of this year. The city will not specify where that well is located, but says while there is no short-term risk to radium exposure, it will create a mitigation plan to repair the well before reopening it. 3 of the 4 people testifying on Capitol Hill today had firsthand knowledge of President Trump's phone call with Ukraine's leader, despite claims from the president.
It was the longest day of testimony so far, and the day's exchanges got a little tense at times. Nicole Killian reports.
Welcome to Impeach-a-Palooza 2019.
Lengthy and sometimes tense testimony in Tuesday's impeachment hearings took the public inside the White House for the first time, with witnesses who listened in on President Trump's phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I found the July 25th phone call unusual.
Vice Presidential Aide Jennifer Williams and the White House's own Ukraine expert, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, both told the panel the call raised concerns.
Without hesitation, I knew that I had to report this to the White House counsel.
Vindman testified it was improper for President Trump to demand Ukraine investigate a U.S. citizen and political opponent Joe Biden. Republicans tried to discredit the decorated war veteran, and he pushed back.
Mr. Vindman, you testified in your deposition that you did not know the whistleblower.
Ranking member, it's Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
President Trump weighed in from the White House.
I understand now he wears his uniform when he goes in. No, I don't know Vindman at all.
Tuesday's testimony also called into question the White House's explanation that the reason President Trump withheld millions of dollars in aid to Ukraine was because he was worried about corruption, not because he was trying to bribe Ukraine into investigating his political rival.
Former Special Envoy to Ukraine Kurt Volker testified he should have made the connection between a Ukrainian energy company and the president's desire to investigate the Bidens. He dismissed allegations against Biden.
I've known former Vice President Biden for a long time. I know how he respects his duties of higher office, and it's just not credible to me.
Tim Morrison, who used to work for the National Security Council, was the second witness Republicans requested Tuesday. He testified he heard nothing illegal on the call, but was concerned about the political fallout if it leaked. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
There are 2 more days of public testimony this week. Tomorrow, Gordon Sondland, Laura Cooper, and David Hill will testify. On Thursday, Fiona Hill and David Holmes will go before the committee. And you can watch the full coverage right here on News 3 Now. 2
prison guards charged today with falsifying prison records the night Jeffrey Epstein died. They have pleaded not guilty. A grand jury indictment made public today accused the guards of failing to perform checks on Epstein every half hour and then fabricating log entries to show they had. The 2 will be both released on $100,000 bonds. Their lawyers say the guards are being scapegoated. Epstein was found dead in his cell back in August as he awaited trial on sex trafficking charges. New York City's medical examiner ruled Epstein's death a suicide. Police are crediting a drone and canine for ending a chase last night that ended in a swamp near the Alliant Energy Center. Fitchburg police say it started as a traffic stop for a registration violation. When the car appears to come to a stop, 28-year-old Uriah Smith jumped out of the passenger door, ran into a nearby marsh. Madison police were called to use their drone. It took just seconds for the infrared camera to pick up Smith's body heat. When they found him, he was in waist-deep water and couldn't get out because of all the mud. He's now facing charges of resisting an officer. Madison has an average of about 8 traffic fatalities and nearly 100 critical injury crashes every year. That's according to transportation officials.
The city is considering officially adopting the goal of bringing those numbers down to 0. Madeline O'Neill explains how.
Charlotte and Eric, Vision Zero is a traffic safety project that started in Europe. Now cities across the country have committed to making a plan to eliminate all road fatalities and serious injuries. Madison is taking steps toward joining those ranks.
People's lives are at stake.
That's why city alders, with Grant Foster leading the way, have allocated $350,000 in the city of Madison's budget to pave the way toward Vision Zero.
Instead of prioritizing how quickly we can move cars through an environment, it starts to focus on keeping people safe first and foremost.
The goal is a shift in perspective.
We don't have to just sit back and say, you know what, this is the cost of getting where we need to go. We can make a change.
Changes to eliminate traffic fatalities and serious injuries could include lower speed limits or increased visibility crosswalks.
Whether the end goal is realistic or not, I think it's a really sort of proven strategy.
It does sound lofty, but if you don't try, will you get anywhere?
City Transportation Director Tom Lynch says the focus will be on intersections ranking high in injury severity. North Stoughton Road at East Washington Avenue currently tops that list.
If we could address fatalities and injuries on just 4% of our roads in the city, we could eliminate half of all the injuries that are causing, ending lives or critically changing lives forever.
Other cities, including Chicago and Minneapolis, are working toward Vision Zero.
So we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We can really see what's worked in other cities.
For city officials, it's a project worth getting moving quickly.
It's a priority. Life is a priority.
The money allocated in the budget will translate into real changes on roads next year. The city will analyze how best to improve roads and intersections, deciding which ones to begin with in the coming months. To officially meet the criteria of Vision Zero, the city needs to establish a long-term plan. That's something officials are looking to do next year.
Still ahead tonight, a turkey emergency at the Goodman Community Center.
Plus, breaking ground on the new Community Arts Center downtown. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Goodman Community Center is facing what it is calling a turkey emergency ahead of its Thanksgiving basket drive. They're short 500 turkeys for its 31st annual Thanksgiving basket drive. The program aims to give out 3,500 baskets of food to help nearly 21,000 people have a holiday meal. Baskets are set to be distributed Saturday through Monday. Today is the official groundbreaking for a new community arts center downtown. The Arts and Literature Laboratory is getting a new 10,000 square foot space. It is at the corner of South Livingston and East Main Streets in front of the new public parking garage near the Sylvie. Alders approved a $500,000 grant for the Arts Lab to finish interior instruction. It's expected to take 4 months to complete.
New tonight, the National Insurance Crime Bureau releases its list of the 10 most stolen vehicles of 2018. The 2000 Honda Civic topped the list, more than 38,000 of them stolen last year. The 97 Honda Accord was second, with the 2006 Ford pickup truck third. Just shy of 750,000 vehicles were stolen last year. That's about 3% less than the previous year. Wisconsin's 9-day gun deer season will start Saturday. The season begins just before dawn. It'll run until just after sunset on December 1st. And for the first time in a decade, hunters will be able to take does in every county in the state, a sign that the state herd is strong. The department also asking hunters to test for CWD. Roughly the same number of deer hunting licenses have been sold this year compared to last. As of Sunday, the DNR said more than 538,000 licenses were sold. That's about 500 fewer compared to last year. The tally includes gun, bow, crossbow, and other licenses. Crossbow licenses are actually up 10%. Licenses for children under age 9 are up about 1,300.
This will put a smile on your face. There's a group of seniors in Randolph County, Illinois, who are getting ready for the season. They're taking part in a little target practice today. These are photos that were posted on the organization's Facebook activities page titled simply, "Today we are practicing for shotgun season," taking aim and bagging their box buck. And look at that, they have scopes on them as well.
They are sharpshooters. You don't need tracking snow for the box buck, Gary.
No, but I know the hunters would like it, and I think a lot of the snow will be gone by this weekend, but it's possible that we could see some just before Thanksgiving. Let's start out by taking a look at the fog situation tonight. Visibilities are pretty low, especially west of Madison. A lot of locations seeing visibilities under a mile, including a mile or a quarter of a mile in Viroqua, Boscobel, Lone Rock, and Monroe. Half-mile visibility in Mineral Point. But notice in Madison, visibility is still 7 miles. There is a dense fog advisory in effect for much of southern Wisconsin. Future track visibility shows much of that thicker fog moving eastward a little bit, with visibilities at or below 1 mile through early tomorrow morning, and then improving shortly after sunrise. So there's the dense fog advisory in effect until 9 a.m. for all of southern Wisconsin, from Rock County and Jefferson and Dodge counties westward, including the city of Madison back toward the La Crosse area. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Of course, we have the overnight dense fog that could reduce visibility, but it will be milder tomorrow with high temperatures back in the lower 40s, and we could be near 50 on Thursday morning before a cold front comes through and temperatures drop off. And right in between, it'll be windy and rainy for tomorrow night and Thursday morning, with a possibility for a ½ inch to maybe an inch of rain over much of southern Wisconsin, according to the latest computer models. That, coupled with some of the snow melt, could lead to some ponding of water in some areas. Otherwise, the high temperature trend over the next 10 days, after that 50-degree high on Thursday, we drop back to 35 on Friday, but stay pretty close to normal for the weekend. Then as we head toward Thanksgiving on next Thursday, temperatures will drop off, and that could be critical as the storm system moves through at that time. We could see rain changing to snow, so we have alert days in the forecast for next Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, we might start out with a mix of rain and snow, change to rain during the day, but then could start to mix again with snow later Wednesday or Tuesday night. It'll be windy as well, very windy, in fact. And Wednesday will change over to snow with the possibility for some snow accumulation. Of course, that is a busy travel day, the day right before Thanksgiving. And you can see on Future Track, this is the latest computer model forecast update. You can see mainly rain. This is through midnight, late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, but the snow not far to our north and west. And then eventually that changes over to snow as we head into Wednesday evening, and then pulls out Wednesday night, so that by Thanksgiving, we're back to quiet conditions, but it will be on the cold side. In fact, our Thanksgiving holiday planner calls for that rain and snow mix changing to snow on Wednesday, and it'll be windy. Thanksgiving Day Thursday, a high of 32 with variably cloudy skies, and Black Friday, temperature up around 37 with partly sunny skies. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Not seeing the thick fog here in town yet, but as we check out the almanac for today, temperatures haven't moved very much thanks to the cloud cover and the high humidity. In fact, our high temperature today only topped out at 38, but the low temperature was at 32. And right now, we're at that high for the day of 38 with cloudy skies, the air calm, humidity just shy of 90%. That's about where you start to see the fog form. But notice, while temperatures are in the 30s here, They're in the 40s out to the west, or close to 40. We should see milder weather for tomorrow. So our forecast includes that dense fog advisory overnight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for much of southern Wisconsin. Look for dense fog in some areas. Otherwise, low temperature only dropping to 32, so we'll continue to melt what snow there is on the ground overnight. Then tomorrow, look for a high of 43 with cloudy skies. It will be a little milder, and the fog should lift in the morning. On future track, cloudy skies, fog overnight, lows in the lower 30s, highs tomorrow in the lower 40s. Again, maybe some sunshine late in the day, especially south and west of Madison, but the clouds move in, and by midnight tomorrow night, notice the rain coming in, and temperatures actually rising into the upper 40s by early on Thursday morning. The high of 50 will be in the morning, and then those temperatures start to fall in the afternoon as winds shift to the north and west. 7 to 10 day forecast, quiet for the weekend, but the time period to watch again, Tuesday and Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. Then it should be just quiet and cold for Thanksgiving Thursday and for Black Friday as well. Temperatures there in the middle 30s.
Boy, that 50 on Thursday.
It'll be in the morning, though, so don't be deceived. By afternoon, those temperatures will be falling off.
Long term, I know it's a little early, but you always concern yourself with snow right before Thanksgiving. You got so many people on the roads.
That's why we have alert days in the forecast, just because of the, the potential for some snow accumulation. It's still way too early to be talking about amounts, but
something to watch.
This part of the Midwest, you can see on the models that we could be close to it.
Something to watch over the next week. Gary, thank you. Some big high school basketball news on opening night for the girls' season. The story coming up in sports.
One of the area's top girls basketball players will play at Penn State. Madison Memorial's Leilani Campinas missed last season with a knee injury, but she's back, and she announces today she'll play her college basketball at Penn State. Believe it or not, the high school girls basketball season begins tonight. Monona Grove at Sun Prairie. And here's the first basket of the girls' high school basketball season. It's Sun Prairie's Ashley Ray for 3, and the Cardinals get on the board first. Here's Monona Grove's first points of the season. That, too, is a three-pointer. A corner three by MG freshman Taylor Moreau. Back and forth game all night. Natalie Tilturn hits another triple for the Cardinals here. The game goes to overtime before Sun Prairie wins it 67-64 in overtime. Last night, the Brewers showed off their new logo, which is pretty much like their old logo, as the ball and glove M&B replaces the M with the shoot of barley. One of the reasons you change your logo is to sell more merchandise, and the revamped Brewers fan store in Miller Park today loaded with the new gear. A lot of the new stuff looks very similar to the old stuff, but there are 4 different versions of logos and a little different lettering on the jerseys and such.
But I think true Brewers fans notice every little thing we do, and they're going to dissect it and be able to tell the difference. When we announced the new logo last night, the store opened, and we had lines out the door, and we were selling till midnight, so it was a lot of fun. The classic ball and glove is so popular. It was time to bring it back, and we made some updates, some modernized tweaks to it, if you will. Nothing too dramatic, because we wanted to stay true to the heritage.
Saturday is a big game for Badger football when Purdue is at Camp Randall for a 3 p.m. kickoff. Since it's the final home game of the season, it's senior day. 13 players will be introduced with their parents before the game. One of the seniors, linebacker Chris Orr, is part of a senior class that has 40 wins and is 3 for 3 in bowl games. It's been an up-and-down career, though, for Orr, who tore his ACL on the first play of his sophomore season, but he has persevered to become one of the team's top leaders.
I mean, it definitely wasn't what I expected. It was definitely more than I expected at the same time. You know, it's not, I guess, the smooth sailing that, you know, everybody hopes for, but definitely turned out, you know, to have a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. So, you know, the experiences that I've had, you know, the teammates and friends that I've made, you know, have helped me out a lot. So I've enjoyed my journey, but it ain't over yet. Nowhere near over yet.
Not much change in the college football playoff rankings, at least at the top. LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. Wisconsin moved up 2 spots to 12th. Minnesota slipped to 10th. Michigan is 13th. Iowa 17th. And men's soccer, the United States men's national team plays Cuba in the CONCACAF Nations League. Takes the U.S. 36 seconds to score. Josh Sargent gets it and later scores another. Jordan Morris adds 2 more. The U.S. wins 4-0 over Cuba. The Americans advance to the semifinal round next June as they win Group A. And we'll be right back.
Sandy Sanchez frustrated there. He thought he had a chance for
Gary's back. Final check of the forecast.
Watching the fog out there, especially west of Madison. That's where the thickest fog is, but a dense fog advisory is in effect for Dane County, Madison, down to Rock County, Janesville, westward all the way to the Mississippi River. Thickest fog right now west of Dane County, where many locations reporting visibility is less than a mile. We still have a 7-mile visibility here in Madison. Temperatures are above freezing. As we melt the snow, that just adds a little moisture to the air, so that will keep the threat of fog until the winds pick up tomorrow. High 43 tomorrow and 50 on Thursday before temperatures fall in the afternoon. Quiet through the weekend, but we'll have to watch that Tuesday, Wednesday time period for rain changing to snow before Thanksgiving.
Okay, Gary, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.